Hello, welcome to the Quilters Apothecary for another segment of the plan. We have Christina's black and white quilt that I want to talk about, and we're going to start with how we're going to start working on this piece. The very first thing I'm going to do when I load the quilt, at least this is my initial plan, is everything is going to get ditch work. Absolutely everything. So the border, the outer border, the inner border, all of these diagonal lines as it starbursts around, outside here, absolutely everything will have ditch work on it by the time I'm done. Now, I'm not sure, and I won't know until I load it, what I'm going to do after that, but a couple of ideas that I have in my head. I am going to double bat this. So I want to see a lot of positive and negative space, which is one of the reasons why I want to double bat this. Once I have everything ditched on this piece, the border treatment that I think I'm going to use at this point is some sort of curling Amish something, because I want a little bit of round in here to offset the straight lines and the heavy points. And here, we already talked about a little bit of filler on the inside of this, just to give that positive and negative space. And if I were to pick two places, I would pick the white and also the darkest black to do that. And then on the squares here, I think what I'm going to do is go in 1/4 to 1/2 inch, add another ruler line, just to get that positive and negative and bring the focus to the inside, or the eye of this particular 4-block quadrant, where it intersects. And then I believe I'm going to put 4 triangle designs of some sort. I'm not quite sure what that is, and a lot of times for myself particularly, I find that I don't know really what I'm going to do other than the basics until it's on the machine and the ditch work is laid in, and then it kind of tells me what it wants to say, if you don't mind that old cliche. So that's the plan. Hello everybody, and welcome to the conclusion of the plan for Christina's black and white quilt. So let's take a look at how this turned out. Okay, so what I did is I did do originally what I had discussed, which is go in and ditch everything here on the whole quilt. I actually just ditched absolutely everything. I also ditched here. Now I want to focus on this block right here. What I had initially said I would probably do is to go in about 1/4 or 1/2 inch and do a straight line and then do a fill in there. What I found when I actually did my first one is I didn't like it. It actually made it a little bit too busy, and it didn't bring the focus back to over here, which was the fill around the blacks and the whites. So instead what I did was I did a continuous curve, and then I also ditched an X in there just to keep it stable. And then what I did is I did keep my original plan with the black, except I went in 1/2 inch, and I ditched right to these 2 points, or not ditched, I'm sorry, I did ruler work. So I started here, I went up, down, down, up, and I stayed within, and I actually chalked that about 1/2 inch. And then I put fill in here with the black thread just to give it that positive negative effect. I also went into this creamy white, and I also went into this white, and I filled that in. And I left these two stand out for the positive space, just to again get that wonderful positive and negative feel. In the border itself, what I did, so let's go over here. What I did in this particular border is obviously I had ditched it, and I just went in between and I just put a straight line and split the middle. Again, just as a separation from the body and the actual outer border. Now, as you look at the border itself, I had initially said I was going to do a curling Amish feather, and instead what I did was I changed that and I pulled out my circle rulers because I wanted something a little more round, and I felt that the curling Amish feather would detract, and this batik is so beautiful I felt it would overwhelm it, and I did want this batik to really pop out. So what I did was I did a couple circles, and so I used the circle design from the Thread Fusion DVD and did the couple circles, and then I filled and created positive and negative space with that. So that is how it turned out. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Are there things that I would do different? I have to say on this one, it turned out really good. And so on this one, I'm going to say, yeah, I'd stick with it just how I did it. I can't really think of how um, I would have done it different now that it's complete and I'm looking at it in person. Every quilt is a little different in person. So I'm really actually very happy and I want this quilt. All right. So there we go. You all have a wonderful day and take care of each other.